I haven't really given that many reviews in a while when it comes to stories and games. For the most part, the reason why I stopped giving reviews is just I just stopped caring. Move this back a little. When you stop caring about giving reviews, eventually you just start caring about anything. Because it used to be I would happily give reviews on what I think about certain games or books or anything, but I gotta say, this series, it's called So I'm a Spider, So What? And it's a pretty okay series. Some parts are kind of tumbling around. From what I understand, I'm pretty sure this is Okinababa's first series? Because the writing isn't exactly polished. It's like when you're going through something important and you're changing perspectives, it gets kind of annoying sometimes. Sometimes the perspectives go on so long that your main character gets no spotlight whatsoever. But later on in the story, the perspectives were kind of getting better. The story was getting, less and less annoying. It annoyingly shifted from time to time. And these last three stories, they really kind of, got your heart thumping and all that. But this isn't a story about whether the series is good, because I very much recommend the series. It, it's more along the lines of how you end a series. And typically, when ending a story, it's difficult to give a satisfying conclusion. Normally, I wouldn't gripe about these things because it's better that a series, like I said, it's better a series gives an okay ending rather than no ending at all. And if this writer gave an okay ending, I'd be fine with that. Like, it's not easy to make a good ending. It's very hard. When you're writing a series, you have to come up with any ways to end it. Even in the climax, you have to make it really hectic. Like, your emotions go at an all-time high. And at the start of this, the emotions were really high. Uh, you're you're just really on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen, who's going to win, who's going to die, who's going to lose, and will there be a happy ending for our characters? I mean, there doesn't have to be a good happy ending for our characters for there to be a good story. It, there are plenty of good stories out there that have not had happy endings. The fairy tales from way back then come to mind. Grimm's fairy tales and all that. Because sometimes a good story has a good tragedy. This one doesn't really have that. They get a happy ending. They get a happy ending, but it just feels gut wrenchingly dissatisfying. Like, you have this roller coaster of emotions. You succeed at making people interested in your book and just feel that tension. Feel that tension just by reading that book. And all you do is give a conclusion. 1 to 3 sentences per character that we have been watching from their perspectives. And it's just dissatisfying. What am I supposed to feel? Our MC gets a proper conclusion. Maybe it's not satisfying, but she gets a conclusion. Her story is written out on what happened, not just what happened to her, it shows what exactly happened to her and what's going to happen to her. Everyone else, it just says, this is what happened to them. And I'm doing the best I can not to spoil anything. But towards the end, the MC barely even gets a chance to say goodbye. She's like, I guess there was a thank you and a take care sort of thing, but no emotional goodbyes, not even the feelings. I can't express how empty this made me feel. Because in conclusion, these characters, all the conclusion they got is like, oh yeah, this is what happened to them. We don't get an explanation of how they felt. We don't really get to see the perspective of the MC's friends. We don't even get to see them like being happy or anything. We're given a conclusion. And honestly, I wish our MC got a proper chance to say goodbye. And this is what I hate about this. That when you don't get a chance to say goodbye, make it a bittersweet ending. Don't make it a completely dissatisfying ending. Bittersweet doesn't mean a dissatisfying ending. It means that the ending was bittersweet. Like, it's the equivalent of you won, but at what cost? Everything is done. You achieved your goals. You gotten what you wanted, but at what cost? That's what a bittersweet ending would be. This isn't even a bittersweet ending. It's just an ending. You don't even get our main character to have an emotional talk with one of the main reasons why she was even into all this, and why she was even going so far to do the things that she was willing to do. Like, that there was supposed... I watched like one of the main catalysts of this. One of the main catalysts. Well, you could say two of them for this, from that standpoint, but one of the main catalysts, one of the reincarnations, I should say, didn't even get a satisfying conclusion either. It's like she was tossed aside. They're like, the things, all the stories, all the things we got to see from that person's perspective, all the fights just to save this one person. And she's just tossed aside just like that. And I don't mean like in a bad ending or what. She's just giving a conclusion. A conclusion. That's all there is. We get, oh, this is what happens to her. In just a few sentences. We don't get to see how she felt. We don't get to see how she interacted with everyone else. We don't even get to see the perspective of our friends. We don't get to see this perspective of one of the people she talked with the most, that she had an emotional attachment with the most. That's how deeply unsatisfying these conclusions are. Like, why? In what world makes that a satisfying conclusion? Even the climax. I mean, it was disappointing. It wasn't the worst climax in the world. It was a pretty okay. It made me feel all sorts of emotions. But then it just throws all that away. Like, they struggled. Like, they really struggled. Like, people were in danger of dying. People have died before. But why end it like that? Why? One person got to say something. Thanks. Take care. And that's it. All of a sudden they're gone. Never to be seen again. No one gets a chance to say goodbye. That it's heart-wrenching, but not in the way that it's the awful heart-wrenching. It's like it makes you feel like your arms or feet are being held by weights and you're trudging through water. But not in a way that makes you feel like the ending was sad, the ending was bittersweet, that the ending just makes you feel like the characters had a very tragic ending. No, it's just dissatisfying. You watch these characters, you got to see from their perspectives. You watch them struggle every day. You watch them lose friends, family, left and right. You watch people grow. You watch people succeed, and all of a sudden, you get this 2 to 3 sentence conclusion. It's like time just forgets about them. Or rather, not forgets about them. It just didn't even care. You spend so much time and money watching these people, hoping that they get a happy ending. But they do. Some of them do get a happy ending. But how? We don't know. They just get a conclusion. We're just, oh, hey, here. It's a happy ending. Or this might have been the happy ending. Who knows? You don't get those good endings. And I don't mean as in good as in happy. I mean good as in that was a sad ending, or that was bittersweet, that was a tragic ending, that was a happy ending. You don't get any of that. It was just an ending. Done. Let's move on. Like, we're human beings, okay? Naturally, we'd be curious as to what would happen. We're curious people. So naturally, it's hard to accept an ending like this with so little details, no perspective endings given. Like, you've been giving perspectives this entire time. You just end it. It's like this one great big void that you put in someone's heart. It's never to be filled. We don't feel anything. We don't feel happy. We don't feel sad or even angry. We just feel empty. That's what the ending of this book made me feel. It just gave me a great big void. And I just don't know what to feel anymore.